Hello everybody, it's Mr. Steve here. We are here at Loveworks for another story time. I've got Maxwell, I've got Ellie. Ellie is very excited to be at a story time.
She's bouncing off the walls.
She's bouncing off the walls.
Boing, boing,
Eleanor,
boing.
bounce off the walls! Now! Oh,
Bounce
man.
Amber's walls.
So today we're going to be learning about Thanksgiving, which is a holiday that centers around one important thing: the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And also this thing called granny potatoes that my wife's family makes. I love them so much, especially if they're a little bit burnt. But anyway, granny potatoes. Trust me, they're the greatest thing. So, yes, story time. Nice, Eleanor. Featuring Mr. Steve. That's me. I feel so important. A lot of people here today. Hello, hello, hello. Eleanor playing in there, having fun. Here, let me straighten this. Seems as if it's been a... Wait a second. Guys! How about we start out today's event by doing a little sing-along. Let's sing a song that everybody knows. Let's sing a good kid song, because I, Mr. Steve, know a lot about children. I know so much about children. So let's sing a song that all you kids love. What about Despacito? Let's sing that, okay? Let's sing Despacito together. 1, 2, 3. Spanish, 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 Spanish.
What? That's not how you do
Spanish, 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 Spanish. Spanish, 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 Spanish. That's how the song goes. Okay, fine. Let's see, maybe, okay. Oh, no, I get it. No, the problem with that song is that it's not a kid's song. Let's sing a kid's song, okay? Hey, Riptide? No. What? My tie? I love my tie.
It's a pretty good tie.
It has a rip? What are you talking about? No, it's not. Okay, let's sing a kid's song. What's a good kid's song? Okay, how many of you know Metallica? Show of hands. Show of hands.
You're going to put 2 spoonfuls inside your pie crust. Only 2, please. And then you're going to fold it in half. Leaders will be around to help you fold
It's fine.
And then you're going to use your fork to press the side.
We're making pies. So what are you making? You making calzones?
No.
You're making what? Pies. We're making pies here.
My mom said chocolate. Melted chocolate.
Melted chocolate? No, we're making pies. We're making little pies. Oh, that would be awesome. But no, we're not doing that today, I don't think. Oh, I am thankful for Squiggle because they are Squiggle from parasites.
I'm thankful for because they are mom's baby from I am a baby, don't call me a toddler. That's what she said.
Wow. I
I
am thankful for video games because they are fun. Nice.
am thankful for my mom and dad.
Because they are nice. Here's mine. I am thankful for squirrels because they are cute.
From Mr. Steve.
I didn't write anything else.
Tasty.
No, I would never write that. In my mind, Thanksgiving is about one important thing. And you know what that is, kids? Exactly. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. It's really weird because they combine all these things. Oh, look, here's a float of forest animals. And who's inside? It's Forrest Whitaker singing a jazz song. It's like they put a bunch of things in a hat and then they just pull it out. Oh, look, a float celebrating New York. And who's inside? It's Forrest Tucker, and he's tap dancing about Chicago. It's really weird. It's the funnest 3 hours you'll ever have in your life. We're going to read this book, kids, and it's about Thanksgiving. It's called The Memory Cupboard. You ready, kids?
Ready.
Aye, aye, Captain. Okay. It was Thanksgiving. And Mom, Dad, and I were visiting my grandma who lived far away, east of the Mississippi, Dad told me. It took us 2 nights and a day to get there by train. By train! Have any of you ever rode on a train before? I rode on a train. I rode on a train from Dallas to Norman, and I slept for most of the time because apparently that's what trains rock, just like a crib. And I'm like, oh, this train is really nice. It was very relaxing. I'm just knocked out. The train is just always moving, like jiggling. Yeah. It's like you're standing on top of a hyperactive child. Yeah, like a jellyfish. Yeah. Oh, look at that. We're in the 80s, children. This is exciting. Okay. Oh, welcome to Westport. Mom's brother, Uncle Eddie, met us at the station. There's my little Katie, he said when he saw me. All of these people have that Disney teeth where it's just one long tooth on the top and one long tooth on the bottom. They only have 2 teeth. One giant one up here and one giant one up here. It's Disney teeth. Everyone in this book has Disney teeth. There's my little Katie, he said when he saw me, and he picked me up and twirled me around. How's my most beautiful and favorite niece? But she twirled her around too much, so she just vomited all over him. Just, wah. You shouldn't have twirled me around so much. Wah. I'm your only niece, I said, laughing, and I'm getting dizzy. Come on, said Uncle Eddie, everyone's waiting to see you. We drove through lightly falling snow to Grandma's big white house, the house where Mom and Uncle Eddie grew up. Better watch out, Uncle Eddie warned as we got out of the car. You're gonna get bombarded. And sure enough, the family was there with tanks, shooting at her. Oh no, I'm getting bombarded.
No.
She's getting attacked. Oh wait, it was a different bombarded. She's getting bombarded with hugs. And sure enough, the family came swooping down on us with smiles and hugs. The whole family can fly, so they all swooped down. There was great Uncle Bernie, great Aunts Barbara and Laura, and Aunt Ruth and little Davy asleep in her arms. Then finally there was Grandma, smelling of spices and cinnamon. She would just rub spices and cinnamon on her. You know, it's something that grandmas do. She held my face between her hands and said, "Such a sweet face, just like your mom's." And she kissed me on the forehead. She might try and eat her brains right here. just to be, I'm worried that the grandma might be a zombie. She's like, "Oh, you're so sweet, brains." I'm just worried. Yeah. The relatives sat around talking, and when Grandma left for the kitchen, I followed her. What's the picture? Do you see that cat on the fridge? That is the weirdest cat I have ever... What is wrong with that cat? That is a nightmare. What in the world? There's legs and like, ah! And this is my dog. He's 14 feet tall. Slender Dog. That's the dog of Slender Man. That is frightening. Okay. Sorry. I got distracted. You gotta tell me something? Okay. Oh, good to know. The relatives sat around talking, and when Grandma left for the kitchen, I followed her. Right away, I noticed the letters and drawings I'd sent her during the year. "You kept everything," I said. "This is how I keep track of how you're growing," Grandma said. "This is how we stay close between phone calls and visits." Grandma placed the turkey on a platter. "It's time, Katie," she said, and I knew what I was supposed to do. I plucked a small glass bell from a shelf and walked around the living room, ringing the bell and calling, "Turkey time! Turkey time! Turkey time! Turkey time!" Have you kids ever heard of a turducken? Yeah. That's a turkey, and then inside of the turkey is a duck, and inside of the duck is a chicken. You know what the hardest part is about making a turducken? Getting all of those animals to eat each other before you make the food. It's really difficult. My call brought everyone into the dining room. Grandma came in with the turkey, and Mom brought stuffings and sweet potatoes. "This is a feast fit for a king," said Great Uncle Bernie. The turkey looks too... Great Uncle Bernie, this whole time I should have been doing a Bernie Sanders impression. "This is a feast fit for a king," said Great Uncle Bernie. "The turkey looks too pretty to carve," said Great Aunt Barbara. "I've been waiting for Thanksgiving all year," said Aunt Ruth, and we all sat down at the table. Uncle Eddie carved the turkey. "Say, where's our old turkey platter, the one with the little turkeys running along the border? I've never seen this one before." "Oh, I decided it's time for a change," said Grandma with a wave of her hand. Yeah. I took some of everything because I was so hungry. Grandma served the gravy in a white gravy boat. I traced the blue flowers with my finger. "Your mom and Uncle Eddie bought me this for Mother's Day a long time ago," Grandma said when she saw me admiring the gravy boat. "It was so long ago. It was when everything was in black and white." "We saw it in a store window," Mom said, "and we knew that Grandma just had to have it." What are y'all doing with my cooking? "We broke into both of our piggy banks," Uncle Eddie continued, "but we didn't have enough money, so your grandpa gave us the rest. We had a wonderful time eating and singing." Eating and singing. They're just like, "Om, om, om." And then they're just singing Chandelier and then eating some more. And then they sing
Chandelier.
Poker Face. Om, om. And then they sing a Metallica song. Great Aunt Laura led us in her favorite song, "Over the River and Through the Woods." That's your favorite song, Great Aunt Laura? Okay, whatever. And then it was time to clear the table for dessert. I wanted to help. I picked up the gravy boat carefully in both hands. But the next thing I knew, it had slipped out of my hands and crashed to the floor. Everybody say, "Oh no!" There was complete silence. When I looked down at the floor and saw that beautiful gravy boat broken in pieces, I burst into tears. Grandma looked at the pieces and then at me. Without a word, she took my hand and led me away. Where were we going? Grandma took me to a closet filled with 39 other gravy boats. I knew you would break it because I know you're a klutz. I'm just kidding. I was still crying as she led me out of the kitchen and up the back stairway into the little guest room. It had a bed, a rocking chair, and a tall wooden cupboard painted white. Grandma took a brass key from a hook on the window frame and inserted it into the cupboard's keyhole. She opened the door and announced, "Behold! My memory cupboard!" And then she started playing an organ that she had there just for the occasion. This is where I store my memories. It's a Rick and Morty episode. I saw shelves of toys, teapots, mugs, cookie jars, clocks, dolls, and porcelain ladies. So many things. When I looked more closely, I saw that everything was broken. Humpty Dumpty was sitting at the base of a lamp. For an egg, he was not in very good shape. He should try Pilates. Just like in the nursery rhyme, he was cracked. I don't understand, I said to Grandma. I don't see any memories. All I see are broken things. But what I see are memories. Every object here has a story to tell.
Look at yourself.
Grandma reached into the cupboard and brought out a striped mug with a chipped rim. Grandpa's favorite coffee mug, for instance. Whenever I look at it, I see Grandpa at the table enjoying his morning coffee. He would drink it from his chin, from his cheek. He would just pour the coffee into his cheek, as you can see there. He would pour it into his cheek. That's how he drank the coffee. How did it get chipped, I asked. From years of use, loving use, said Grandma. She sniffed the mug. You know, I do believe I can still smell the coffee. Maybe you should wash the coffee cup then. Just an idea. I sniffed too, but I couldn't smell anything. Tell me about Humpty Dumpty, I said. Grandma wiped a speck of dust from Humpty's cracked head. Grandpa and I told your mom and Uncle Eddie years of bedtime stories by the light of this lamp. One day they were chasing each other around the room, and Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. I laughed, and so did Grandma. And now I'll tell you a little secret, said Grandma. Just today I was washing this. She reached into the cupboard and took out the old turkey platter, the one with the little turkeys running around the border. A chunk of the platter was missing. Oh no, somebody better call the authorities. Beep, bop, boop, bop, boop. Hello, authorities? We're missing a chunk of a plate. They hung up on me.
On you.
I knocked the platter against the faucet, she explained. I'm afraid I killed a turkey or two. Oh, because there's turkeys running around. I get it now. Oh, I'm sorry, I said. It's okay, said Grandma, returning the platter to the cupboard. It doesn't matter. She sat down on the bed, patted a place for me next to her, and put her arm around me. And it doesn't matter about the gravy boat either. Sometimes, no matter how careful we are, things we're fond of get broken. But things are just things. People are more important, especially granddaughters. Grandma smiled at me. We can glue the gravy boat together, she said. And whenever I look at it, I'll still see your mom and Uncle Eddie, so proud and excited the day they gave it to me. And I'll remember today when I shared my memory cupboard with you. I knew I would remember too. We heard Mom calling from downstairs. Let's go, said Grandma. We have lots more Thanksgiving memories to make. The end. Yay! Well, that's it for story time. I think that was a good story time.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed riffing on that book. You kids like story time?
Yeah!
Yay! Thanks for watching. Be sure and like and subscribe and those other things I have to say because this is YouTube. Hope you learned something. Tryptophan
Tryptophan.
is the chemical that makes you sleep in Turkey.
Yeah!
And also the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade
Yeah!
is the best.
Yeah!
Bye, guys.
Bye!